What's good? It's your man Hurricane. Back again, Kloak and Dagger Podcast, episode 4. Alright. And I'm about to talk about the Federal Reserve real quick. I want y'all to hear something from Aaron Russo.
Aaron, why do you do this? What's the philosophy of your life? What do you think life's all about?
I think the importance of life is to like yourself. If you don't like yourself, nothing means anything. To like yourself means you have to respect yourself. To respect yourself means you have to take actions that you respect if somebody else did them. And what's the point of living if you don't like who you are? You have all the money in the world, and if you look in the mirror and you don't like what you see there, what's the point of it? So to me, the most important thing is that I like who I am, and that I take actions that I respect if somebody else did them. And you live a life of character, honesty, truthfulness. And I believe that a person has the ability to mold their character like a sculptor molds a piece of clay. When there's no saying they left and never changed in spots, I don't believe that. I believe people have the total ability to mold their character into what they choose to be in their life, what their ideals are. And that's what I try to do with my life. I am not the same person today I was 30 years ago. I've changed a lot. So I wanted to be something better than what I was before. And my philosophy is that you have to be a decent person with character and integrity and honor. And that's what's important.
What's good?
How's it going?
Doing cool. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. Okay.
Live? It looks like we're already live, so that's fun.
Yeah, we live. I wanted to play a clip from Aaron Russo.
Okay.
Because what he was talking about is what we about to get off into with this Federal Reserve and digital currency, this new constitution. What the hell is these villains I'm talking about?
Oh yeah, let's get it. So were you already playing it, or are you gonna play it over again so I can hear it too?
All right. That was just Aaron Russo's philosophy. I ain't really get off into it yet, but I'm about to get off into the Which one to hear? You want to hear the Aaron Russo again? You want to hear that again?
No, if you already played it, it's all good. I just wasn't sure what I was coming into.
That was just a little small intro. Okay. But what we got? I wanted to play the what the girls said from the World Government Summit. I was gonna get off into that, and they was gonna talk about how she is gonna actually pull this off, because like this chick got a fucking background. This chick got a resume. Her name is who I know that. Her name is Pippa Mamgram. It's like, wow, I never heard that name before. But she's head of the National Economic Council. She used to work for George Bush back in the day. I was like, whoa. And and she's like she got her hand into economics, technology, and geopolitics. I'm like, geopolitics?
Oh yeah, geopolitical. That political nonsense. I love it because that's kind of what's going on with like the Ukraine. All of that kind of falls into geopolitical nonsense. So yeah.
Oh shit, she's powerful, and she's into the drone technology also.
What did you say her name was? So I can write that down.
Her name is Pippa Mamgram. It's Pippa. Her last name is Malmgram.
Okay.
Ma'am. And she won 2021 press award. She was 2019 Business Book of the Year, 2020 Independent Press Award. She was in some type of Harvard program for national security. I have like Harvard doing national security programs. That's NSA. I'm like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But let me get off into her little speech.
Yeah. I'll mute
And
myself here.
we're gonna break it down. I'll say it again.
Oh, I was just gonna unmute myself here, so you're all good. We're ready, set, go.
All right, gotcha.
What underpins a world order is always the financial system. I was very privileged. My father was an advisor to Nixon when they came off the gold standard in 71. And so I was brought up with a kind of inside view of how very important financial structure is to absolutely everything else. And what we're seeing in the world today, I think, is we are on the brink of a dramatic change where we are about to, and I'll say this boldly, we're about to abandon the traditional system of money and accounting and introduce a new one. And the new one, the new accounting, is what we call blockchain. It means digital. It means having a almost perfect record of every single transaction that happens in the economy, which will give us far greater clarity over what's going on. It also raises huge dangers in terms of the balance of power between states and citizens. In my opinion, we're going to need a digital constitution of human rights if we're going to have digital money. But also, this new money will be sovereign in nature. Most people think that digital money is crypto and private, but what I see are superpowers introducing digital currency. The Chinese were the first. The US is on the brink, I think, of moving in the same direction. The Europeans have committed to that as well. And the question is, will that new system of digital money and digital accounting accommodate the competing needs of the citizens of all these locations so that every human being has a chance to have a better life? Because that's the only measure of whether a world order really serves.
Now that she sounds so confident. Like when I watched it, when she was like, I'm gonna say this boldly, like we're gonna need a new constitution. It was like, oh my God, like she actually know that it's about to go down. So what do you think about what she just said? Like do she sound like a James Bond villain or what?
That's kind of like, I have to look into her more. I definitely am interested in what she said there, because I do agree with what she said by pointing out, like, that everything's like crypto is going to be, unregulated, and it's like our freedom, like our alternative to this fiat crap. But I think the name like crypto, crypt, and like it's on the blockchain, that just sounds so awful to me. So it's like more like imprisoning to me on like because they want us all in the metaverse, right? So it's of course like they want us to have like this digital currency that's going to be tracked like every single transaction. And that's kind of like daunting to think about too. Like we don't have the capacity to trace everything back now. I mean, have you called your bank lately and tried to fucking figure out some fraud shit lately? Like that's just hard, So, but her saying like that last part about, like if this world government isn't going to be able to, give people an opportunity to live a better life than what they were living prior to it, and is it going to be able to compete with all these other competitors? And that's like what makes me wonder about this whole one world government thing, is like, or even with the Klaus Schwab stuff, like with the Great Reset, it's like, I don't think that's going to work out that way. Like maybe there'll be certain parts of society that will be kind of like fall into that Great Reset, where it's like, some people will fall into that, and go along with it. But in other areas, it'll just be so segregated in that way based on who's doing what, right? And like the fact that like we don't even know who made like Bitcoin, that's kind of like really unsettling as well. And like the US government already is having like, because like I was just pulling it up too, just like 13 days ago, the Fed was saying that they are going to try to regulate cryptocurrency next. So, and they already have their own like system that they've built up, the US government has anyways, of their own like federal, digital currency. So it's like, But I don't think Russia, like the BRICS nations, I don't think like Russia and China are really like for that, right? So like there's still going to be competition. So how are we going to have like a one world government that still has competition within it? Like what is that going to look like?
Yeah, that shit gonna be crazy. But what I think how they gonna trick the people is they gonna give people money. Because I was just looking up in Jamaica, they offering people 2 G's to join their digital currency. So I'm like, oh shit, I was right. But it's it's gonna be how many people just gonna join. I don't yeah, it's gonna be crazy because like there's a lot of competitors all over the world. But if it's a one world government, I wonder what they're gonna choose. But according to Aaron Russo, like they was gonna try to call it the Amero. That shit sound crazy. You said,
right, yeah, and it's like DJ Spin, I just watched Trump's speech in Michigan. How was that? Did you learn anything? Did he talk about crypto? Like
I didn't even know Trump was even here. I didn't even know Trump was even here. I'm like, what the hell? Trump is in Michigan? The hell this nigga doing here?
Well, Trump visited Flint a couple years ago. I thought that was kind of chill, but like I like this is like some double keck shit going on with like chaos magic with the whole Trump train. I'm not about it. Like
right.
So many people are still like so on the Trump train. I'm just like, man, this is gonna go like dark in a way. But because like I think that I personally just think that they're all in bed together, like and then with the Hegelian dialectic, like they're playing both sides, to make it seem like, so for us as the, the small people, the plebs of the society, right? We're not like elites and stuff. They want us confused and like deceived and like pick a side. Because if we pick a side, then it's like, oh, well, I'm against you, you're against me. And then we're fighting each other instead of like fighting them. So, and Trump totally plays into that easy. Like, I mean, people would rather they wrote in the New York Times about Trump eating fucking cherry pie and everybody lost their fucking minds, right? And then nobody, like, once he got elected, like, everybody forgot about Hillary. Everybody's freaking out about Trump and that he's like Hitler. And like, it's just, he's a perfect guy. And like, he was a Pete Piper candidate too in the WikiLeaks emails between Hillary and the DNC. So it's just kind of like interesting to see how this is all going to play out.
Yeah, this is going to be amazing because I know Clinton got her hand in this too. Because as long as the Clintons still talking and breathing and the Clinton Foundation still up, they still got their hand in something. They've been popping for years. What up, though, low-key? Trump need to get Chris.
Yeah. He does need to get Chris. Like the whole thing too. Like I just hate it so stupid. Like I haven't really I don't fuck with celebrity culture. I really don't. So like when I hear this stuff, it just like I hear it through like the minutia of everybody else posting about it, because obviously I get on the internet and I get on like YouTube and I see the headlines or I see like the memes. I'm mostly for the memes.
Those memes get funnier and funnier every time I fucking see them bitches on both sides. Will and Chris. The motherfuckers are wilding.
Right. Even the Jada ones. I personally like the Jada ones the most because like I just think I think they're all toxic. They're all toxic, right? But like Jada is totally like a narky woman, and I just love like messing with narky people. I don't know. But why are they always bald too? Like, what's up with that?
I don't know why they acting like Appalachia. What the fuck is that called? Alopecia. They acting like that shit is a motherfucking life-threatening disease. Like, come on now. I'm bored as fuck. Get over that insecurity, man. Williams here.
And nobody's talking about how like Pfizer like pretty much promoted or like helped fund that like award show. And like I love the meme where it's like nobody would have even known the Oscars was going on unless that happened. Like they're getting so less ratings.
For real.
Don't care. I mean, my dad's bald. I'm not trying to knock it, but that's not my thing. But yeah, the whole like one world government, like what the hell is that going to look like? Because I don't think so right now it's also that still plays in that Hegelian dialectic thing because like we got like Russia and China like got each other's backs right now against the US, but then like what happened when Hillary Clinton sold all that uranium to Russia, and like they're all, they still have business deals together with these different countries, and it's like, okay, so I mean, like underneath that, if we just take like the cloak away from the dagger, right, and like just see it for what it is, what the hell though? It's still so hard to wrap around. Like I even got I got this book, right, that I showed you, from my brother's shed, which is called like The Creature from Jekyll Island, a second look at the Federal Reserve. And like literally the point of the Federal Reserve is for it to be a system, a monetary system built off confusion and deceit, because our money is backed by debt, essentially. Like it's not actually backed by anything, but then it's like technically like backed by debt. So it's backed by less than nothing at that point, right? And it's like, how the hell? And then like with all this inflation going on, because like with expansion comes like it contracts. So like you can kind of think about that like with the population, like when a whole bunch of people move to like inner cities and stuff, and then like the space just shrinks, but there's so many more people. That's kind of like how this inflation works. But inflation is a tax within the products, and like within like everything we buy, it's like a tax that they put just in the price of everything. And then like there's like an article I just looked at where it was like, oh, the Federal Reserve is finally admitting that inflation's real. Like, who the fuck said it wasn't?
Right.
They're definitely not. It's a part of their whole monetary makeup. And it's so like just reading this stuff it's confusing, and it's deceit. That's what it's built off of. Like people like you and me aren't supposed to get how this works. Like,
right. So we gotta destroy it. Yeah, and I got another clip from Aaron Russo talking about where this going to lead to. Let's listen to Aaron Russo. Here we go. Let's listen to him again.
In Germany and England, all over Italy, all over the world, they all work together. They're all central banks, and they're all part of the Communist Manifesto. Central banking is one of the major planks of the Communist Manifesto. We talk about America being a capitalistic country, but yet at the same time, we have a central bank that plans everything for us, right? And the graduated income tax is another plank of the Communist Manifesto, right? So right there, you have two major planks in the Communist Manifesto that have been brought in because of the Federal Reserve System, okay? So the ultimate goal that these people have in mind is the goal to create a one-world government run by the banking industry, run by the bankers, and they're doing it in sections. The European currency, the euro, and the European Constitution is one part of it. Now they're trying to do it in America with the North American Union, right? And they want to create a new currency called the euro, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one-world government where everybody has an RFID chip implanted in them. All money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting straight from Rockefeller himself. This is what they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And so instead of having cash, anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your check digitally. Total control. Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip. And you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's connected to a database that has the purchasing records, what you do.
Everything is in there, And so they want a one-world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips, and they control people, and you become a slave, you become a serf. These people, that's their goal, that's their intentions.
Eric, you be specific about when you met Rockefeller, how it happened in these discussions.
Yeah, now going back to what that chick Pippa Belgrade was saying, they're trying to make these shits and track us. This shit is going down. Like what the fuck?
Right. And speaking of like Trump and like these things, like, because it could go both ways. It could be total control, but if somebody with if this technology and this, whoever came into power to, you know, utilize it. Let's say like there's a thing called like the Jazara, which is like the national. So there's a Nazara, which is the National Economic Security and Recovery Act, and it was a set of proposed economic reforms for the United States suggested back in the 1990s by Harvey Francis Bernard. And this guy is like so dope. And there's like these French conspiracy theories online that Trump is going to reenact Jazara, which is basically, you know, these proposals include replacing the income tax with a national sales tax, and it abolishes compound interest on secured loans and returning to a bimetallic currency. And it would result in 0% inflation and a more stable economy. And there's like theories that, you know, Nazara was due to be announced on September 11th, 2001 at 10 a.m. And that's part of why the Twin Towers got taken out.
Whoa.
Which a lot of people don't talk about. It's something, it's like kind of one of those friends. Yeah. Jazara. Yeah. And I don't know if I'm saying that right, but I'm just assuming that's what it is. But there's like, you know, these fringe Trump communities online that talk about, you know, him enacting that. And then I was trying to read some of these bills that he had passed before he left office that kind of hint to these things, but he's not, you know, in office anymore. So it's not really, because like that's the thing too, is with the Federal Reserve, and the presidents within it, like there's secured presidents that are elected within the Federal Reserve, but a lot of the Federal Reserve, like people within it are chosen by whoever's in the White House. I'm not sure if that happens every couple of years. I'd have to double check on that, but I really hope Biden ain't picking nobody to be put in there. Like that guy, like, I mean, I just hate this. Can we like exit stage now? Because what the fuck, you know? Because I
know.
Okay, like I
think Obama was fucking with people. I think Obama was fucking with people that was fucking with the Federal Reserve, if I'm not mistaken. I need to go look it up.
Yeah, because but they all kind of have to, because we're all kind of like stuck with this, you know, this creature from Jekyll Island, essentially, because that's kind of where the Federal Reserve kind of was birthed, is like a bunch of these like businessmen came to like Jekyll Island and decided to like form their own little cartel and eliminate businesses and, you know, competition within the economy so that they could create this stupid, you know, fiat currency that we're all dealing with now. And I mean, even, you know, these elites and stuff have to deal with this system that's in place also. And that's just what I think, like a lot of this stuff isn't going to like come out to fruition exactly how these people want it to, like with, you know, Schwab and his Great Reset stuff and like all this other shit, because there's just too many reasons for other countries like Russia or China to not, like, why would they want to be under like the thumb of that, right? Like there, you have to like argue out all of those potentials of why they wouldn't want to be controlled by, like, let's say Schwab and all those like weirdos, you know? They have their own, you know, countries and their own priorities and their own like values as well that do not match up with these certain organizations. So like, what about them? Like, what about those factors? Like everybody's like, oh no, like it's going to just happen. Everybody's going to go along with it. Well, like maybe the little people down here with us. Cause I mean, I'm back in Oregon, right? And like people are still double masking and shit. Like it's just, it's ridiculous. Right. But like, those aren't really the people that make the rules. Like we just kind of like over time, we just obey and like, you know, just obey at the small levels. And there's many of us, right? There's definitely way more common folk than like them, obviously, but we're not in control of those major like decisions or moving those pieces on the chessboard. They are. So it's kind of like, I don't know. It's just be interesting. Like I would love to see what's like going on in some of these people's heads, because I know that like they're not all like, they're all kind of gearing toward the same goal, but they don't have all the same like views on how they would achieve it. And I definitely know that like, you know, Putin and Biden don't share the same values. Like that's obvious. So I don't know. Life has just so much nuance, you know, and like they're trying to make us think of in like these black and white, like yes or no scenarios, which that should only just be like, it's like either a hell yeah or fucking no for you and me when we're going to decide to do something. But everything else has like so much nuance. You know, it's not black and white, like, oh, it's going to be end all be all. This is what's going to happen, right? Because people are very, very, you know, shifty, shady, and, you know, some people don't have as much integrity as others, or some people are like, you know, just playing the fiddle and trying to like get people to go along with what they're saying, but they don't even mean what they say. So it's just going to be interesting.
Yeah,
and like,
because I'm
what do
waiting
you
on
think we do? Like, what do you think we should do
learn how to make
as individuals to like try to counteract this as long as we can? Right?
Yep. The best counteraction is hack the planet. That's all I can say. It's the movie Hackers. Because like these are gonna be the new criminals. It ain't gonna be no gun violence no more. They're gonna be hacking people now. It's gonna be actual people bank accounts on a daily basis. Because if they go to this digital currency, that's the next best crime. It's like shit. It's like I'm gonna hack a person's bank account. And like once they get the chip inside their body, I'm gonna hack a nigga body to rob a
Right.
digital bank for me, I guess.
And that's why they want everybody to go to the, you know, electric cars and everything, so that they can just shut off your electric car if you donate to the wrong cause, or, you know, you do this or that. And like, that's also what's annoying too, is like that backdoor that, you know, Biden put in for $600 with the IRS to see our, you know, transactions and shit. Like, so if you get like $600 deposited into your bank account, that is an open door for the IRS to like be like, oh, what's going on in here? But like, what the hell, $600? And then the IRS just this year has audited more people in the like lower income bracket of less than $20,000 a year. They're auditing all these people, and like I got audited, and then they told me, you know, like what happened with me is like I was supposed to get like three grand, a little over $3,000 back in my taxes this year. And I didn't make, like, I'm not going to say how much I made, but I'm still in like, you know, poverty income basically. And they said that I had to pay back the stimulus payments because I made over $75,000 last year.
And they sent me a letter. I'm going to send them a letter back saying, kiss my ass.
Well, yeah, it's like, where are they getting these numbers from? Like, how, okay, if I made $75,000 last year, where the fuck did it go? Where did it come from? You know?
Right.
And apparently that happened to a lot of people too, is like they're whoever's running the IRS, I don't know what they're doing, because they're doing something really messed up.
They're very incompetent, because like there's a whole bunch of millions and millions of people that got stimulus checks that were dead. I'm like, how can dead people get a check? Get your money back from those niggas.
Yeah, exactly. Or like they're saying that my parents got theirs, but they never got any of their stimulus checks. They got none of them. And then they're saying that they have to pay that back, even though they didn't get any of them.
Shit crazy.
And then like low income people who are in like poverty level income, you know, they said that we weren't supposed to get, we don't have to pay it back. And like, but they should also, I'm pissed because like they should have also made it like optional. Like we could opt out of getting those stimulus checks. I was pissed when they started saying that they're going to give us those. Like I didn't give no shits. I was like, that is not free money at all. That is subsidized money from the government. So maybe they're saying that I made $75,000 last year because of how much interest was on just that $1,000, right? Like
that shit is crazy. You man, this is the type of shit that make you want to purge. Like
yeah. Like, I mean, no wonder, you know, and it's like these talking heads on like the news and stuff, like, how could they do this? He's trying to like shoot up the, you know, and they're doing, they want to do this. This guy robbed the bank and we just don't understand. It's like, how do you not understand what's going on with these people, you know, in people's lives? And like, you're the one making the choices for us and you can't even relate to us. Like, if you don't know why that dude went and robbed your bank today, like, then you're just full of crap. Like,
right.
But I mean, I'm not getting no chip in me. And like, what's scary though is like some people are talking, like, there's some, you know, because I'm on like, I love Telegram, and there's just like some, you know, fringe people on Telegram that, you know, really can't talk at all on the internet anymore. Because they're like kind of out there, right? But like, some people are finding chips already in them.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa. So like when they go to a hospital and get a checkup, and then they would inject it with it then? or they born with it? How did this happen?
Who knows? Like that's what one guy, what's his name? Gosh, I haven't checked out his YouTube in a while, but like this guy, I really like enjoy his content. I'll have to send it or like drop it in the comments later. But he like started having like the waking up process. His waking up process was like he found a like I guess he got in a car accident or something. Something happened to him where he had to go like into surgery and stuff. And like when he was healing, he found like this chip inside of his fucking like his ear like socket, kind of like by his eye.
Oh my God.
And like I don't know, it's just weird. And then I was like looking into that more, and like there's definitely like who knows, like especially like Reddit, like the cesspool that is Reddit, right? But you don't know if those are like legit stories or whatever. But I mean, there's definitely some people that kind of stand out. It's like, dude, I would hate to wake up one day and then just like start having like a chip just like trying to eject itself from my body.
Man.
And that's what was happening. I think there's a couple articles like 3 years ago about infants, going home with their parents after being born, and like, like piercings and stuff, how like they can like eject from the skin if they're just like your skin can reject it. Well, that's what's happening with like infants who get these chips. Like some people have been finding chips inside their infants like bodies, like that is getting ejected.
All right, I'm about to lead off into a theory. And this shit might be reaching, but
okay.
If motherfuckers are born with chips, then we are in the fucking matrix, and we are part machines, and we are being born into those fucking pods. I don't want to go there, but goddamn, man, that's what I'm leading to, because I don't got no logical explanation unless we're born half machine.
Right. Like, what if we do? Like, I mean, like, my brother had passed, and like some, people taking their lives and stuff. Like, what if I'm definitely not advocating suicide or self-harm whatsoever. So disclaimer there, like, I'm definitely not like saying that, but like we're just entertaining these thoughts. Right. But it's like, what if you like, you're like unplugging yourself by killing, like what if that's the thing? Like, what if you just like, you're just like, boom, just just exit stage, and then all of a sudden you wake up and you are like in that like the movie The Matrix, and you got like this like goo all over your body, and you're in a pod, and you got like this thing just attached to your head. Like, what do you do? Like, I'm
a freak out for just a split second probably, and then I'm gonna try to get up and get the fuck out of there. But
well, I know, but like, would you be able to?
Feet in the sky?
Yeah.
Like, if I'm 1,000 feet in the sky, I'm jumping. I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna say fuck it. Ain't nobody come to save me.
Yeah. Like like I don't know, because I also like I try to be realistic about these things. Like, there's the like Resident Evil, those video games and stuff, where like those video games where zombies are super, super fast and everything. Like, that's probably not realistically how zombies would be. Like, let's say like they like weaponized a rabies virus like they did in that one movie. And like people became zombies
28 days later they get the monkey virus.
Yeah. And like, let's say like they did that, but like, I mean, the faster the body like moves over time, it wears out, the energy in your body, and so your body starts to deteriorate. So like, that's why it's like zombie movies, they start to like their flesh starts falling off, and like they start getting all slow, and just go move to the mountains. Like, because honestly, like if zombies really happen, like the faster they probably maybe would move really fast in the beginning, but over time they would just start like decaying faster and faster, and then just be slower and slower, and like they probably wouldn't make it uphill. So
yeah.
But that's right. Like the same with like the Matrix movie. Like if we were to like wake, let's say like I just fucking exit stage, and I love these comments, but I was saying was like, let's say like the Matrix, with Keanu Reeves, where he like wakes up in that, and then like, or like other movies, there's a couple of tons of sci-fi movies where you're like in a pod and you kind of wake up with like probes in your head and stuff, and you gotta like unplug yourself. But like, how long, okay, for one, how long have you been in that pod for?
Right.
Like, were you originally human in the pod, but went like, because like they're still obviously human, but they got put up in these attached in these pods, and then they were kind of like living in a alter dimension, like dream dimension in a way, because like that's kind of how I see it, is like they woke up in the Matrix and it's kind of like a dream state in a way you can compare it to. But like he wakes up, he's still got a body. So like how long was he in that pod for? Because like, are they feeding him? Like, you know, like I don't think like these elites really care enough to like, yeah, they're gonna harvest our energy, but would they care enough to keep us have enough nutrition? Or is it just enough nutrition so that our brains keep working?
Yeah, like that's a whole nother science. That's a whole nother diabolical.
You gotta try to be realistic about these things, because like there's like tons of like fantasy is definitely a part of reality, and like now they're trying to take fantasy out of reality and try to like, I don't know, invert everything. But
so
like we know it's real, okay? Like, you know, like I'm touching my nose. You can't see me right now, but I'm like touching my nose. Like if I drop this pen, it's gonna drop, you know. Like these are just facts that we can like verify and prove right in front of us right now as individuals, you know. And that's like when I think about these like theories and stuff, I try to be realistic about them. But I'm not a scientist. So like, but I just like I know kind of what I know. And yeah, like I'm gonna be a shriveled up looking alien thing, like from Men in Black, that little alien dude, all shriveled, all shriveled up, you know, in a pod, waking up from the Matrix. That's gonna be weird.
yeah. But like for the logical sense of what they're doing, like they call it gene splicing and genetic manipulation. So yeah, like they could be just like manufacturing humans. And we can go to cloning, and this is
the cloning. I found out there's this guy, like my Twitter is like where it's popping. I'm trying to get more back on there, but there's this guy who because it's like Heather Blessington calls it REM rape, where like pretty much when we go into REM sleep, because like that's what like Aquinas and stuff, that general in the military who was like a Satanist or whatever, he's part of like the cult of Set or whatever. They believe that like these some of these satanic cults and like other cults that maybe don't identify as like satanic, right? They believe that they can infiltrate your dreams and like control people like with puppet strings through their dreams and their unconscious. And most people are operating on a daily basis from their unconscious realms and acting out unconsciously, right? So
Inception shit. So Inception is real?
Yeah, like that's what like so, and that's kind of like also like that movie Insidious too.
Holy shit, man! Wait, is Insidious that horror movie where the motherfucker coming out the TV grabbing those kids?
Kind of like that, but like the kid goes to sleep and then they have to like he's like stuck in the dream realm and there's like that creepy like demon like trying to take him off into the dream world. I don't know, it's just weird. I haven't seen it in a while, but it's kind of like that. But like there's these elite like these culty weird people that believe that they can like, you know, astral project, or I don't even know, like there's probably different ways they do it, but like astral projection would probably be like a main example for, you know, lay people to understand. That they can like astral project into your dream while you're sleeping. That's also why I love being an insomniac, because I don't go to sleep when everybody else does. So like I'm not one of those people. But but like let's just think like there's probably like that's why I love dream journaling, and I definitely recommend it. People should be dream journaling as much as they can.
I can only last a week. Last a week, and it's like, you know, after that week, I just can't do it. I was like, what the hell? It's like I'm trying to build my discipline up on that, but I can only last a week. But it used to be just 3 days, but like I made it to a week, so like that's progress. That's progress.
Yeah, and I mean, it's just like it's not like you don't want to just like be strict with yourself too, because like I mean, sometimes like with me, I was doing dream journaling like religiously for a while, but then like then I stopped like remembering my dreams even more the more strict I got with myself. So it was kind of like, okay, well, if I wake up and I remember the dream and it sticks out to me, then I'm gonna write it down. And that's kind of what I've done lately. But like that's like everybody should be dream journaling, because you might have some weird fed culty weirdo traversing the dream realm and gang stalking you in your dreams. And like that your dreams also may be influencing your behavior in your waking life. And if you're unaware of what you're dreaming of and how those symbols within the dream affect you, or what they're kind of, because like dreams are like, everyone's like, oh well, dreams don't mean anything, blah blah blah. But I mean, they do, but it just depends on what knowledge you have about the situation at hand that you're dealing with in waking life. So, and they're symbolic. They're not like direct messages. I mean, some people do get like prophetic direct messages in their dreams, but that's very rare. But that's like scary to think about. Like, I mean, most people don't remember their dreams every day. So it's like, well, what if there is some weird Fed person, you know, influencing me from my unconscious, and I'm acting out unconsciously throughout the day. So like, am I really making my own choices?
Right. Right. Now that's the scary shit to think about.
Yeah.
But
And then, like,
I think
yeah. Go ahead.
it is gang stalking me, man. They got a fight on their hands, man, because I scrap with everybody that motherfucker. I feel that I feel that's a threat. So like it's like they gotta really watch their back fucking with me.
Well, yeah, and I just also think that it's like, why? Okay, so there's like 7 billion plus people on the planet. We don't really know because like some countries don't have a census, right? But
Right.
that's a lot of fucking people, and there's like so few of these like, you know, players that are kind of that we see controlling everything. But that's also a half truth too. Like there are players that have like immense amount of control over what we do. But like it's not that like it's all chaos. Like all of this is chaos, okay, what we're dealing with. And that's why they deal with a lot of like chaos magic and everything, which is like trying to control the chaos, which I think I was just born into that kind of mode of being anyways. But like that was thinking too, is like, okay, so we got all these people that already like kind of going with these people's plans, and it's still kind of like foiling, which is kind of funny to think about because they're just incompetent, right? But like they have to be like, they're pulling their own teeth out to control the masses for what? People like you and me not to say anything about them. So like whatever it is that we are capable of doing, that we're unaware we're capable of doing, they really don't want us to know that we're capable of doing, right?
Yeah, because we can destroy this bitch. We can destroy this bitch. I think they motherfucker like just like trying to suppress our power, or maybe chipping us to turn us into a motherfucking super soldier so they can have an intergalactic war with some alien we don't know nothing about. Who knows?
Who knows? Yeah, like the theories are kind of endless. Like I also think that if you can think it exists, and that's kind of scary to go into too. Like because that's also like the expanding universe. Because like the more that we like go out and seek into the outer space or whatever, that's the more that we see, the more that we project on, the more that everything like expands, and the more realities we create. So it's like, dang, it really is like this infinite chaotic cesspool of madness that we're all kind of in. And it's kind of exciting. I think it's kind of exciting. It's kind of fun. It's kind of scary. Yeah. It's wild, wacky, and weird. But like, what the fuck? It's like with the obelisks, like Rothschilds and like Washington and the Getty guy, occupy the Getty, hashtag occupy the Getty. But anyways, they all have like those obelisk towers for their headstones. And then like that's like harnessing energy even after these dudes are dead.
Yeah, it's like, what is they powering up? It's like, is they powering up a machine, or is there some type of sleeping entity under the cabin of the woods type of shit? They just bursted out the ground as a giant monster. I'm like, what the fuck?
Well, I just think
a great fucking movie.
It's not even like that. It's just they're hijacking the collective psyche through psychic phenomena, which is inherently within matter. So they're just pretty much trying to control the psychic phenomenon that underlies all material reality. And that's pretty much what it is. Like money, like essentially is energetic at the end of the day. Like that's also kind of what's funny about this fiat currency and how it just kind of gets printed out of thin air, or like this digital thing where, you know, they could either like enslave everybody, or they could just press a button and erase all the debt and start all over. That would be really cool, right? But I don't think that's what anybody's going to do anytime soon, especially Trump. But
right. Because like that's what I said in my video. I was like, is they gonna start everybody from scratch and give everybody a ways that they can live on? But you know, like, is there still gonna be a class system, poor, middle class, rich? How's it gonna go? Is because like this is gonna trigger some shit. This is gonna trigger some shit.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be like, it's like a pretty much, you know how they talk about these bubbles, like the coming housing bubble, or this, you know, the debt bubble, or you know, all these bubbles, right? Because we all like live in our own individual bubbles, or like our bubble, like, or a spaceship that we're just bashing spaceships into each other, right? And our bubbles, like some people's bubbles are gonna pop. And but it's like really just like, yeah, it's like a group of, you know, bubbles just simultaneously popping and triggering other bubbles to pop off. So it's going to be really interesting. It's kind of like House of Cards or like domino effect, kind of like, you know, let the chips fall where they please. And I find that very interesting and like fun, because
Yeah.
it also just gives me a like immense amount of like hope too. And like, I know the whole hope thing, like Obama really freaking made me not want to say hope ever again.
Yeah, hope or change. I'm like, nigga, the only change I got was change in my pocket. I ain't getting no money. No money.
Yeah, but it's just like so chaotic and so messy that like it's kind of gives me like that hope that like, okay, I'm confident because I'm competent, right? And that's like something my brother wrote in his journal that I loved the other day. And these people are incompetent. And we're dealing with like chaos and like chaos magic. And if you can like embrace the madness and like be competent and confident, like who's going to stop you? Who's going to stop you? This freaking, they're not going to chip me. And if I'm already chipped, then it's not really doing much, is it? So, but yeah, I love this thick ass thing. I think over the next few weeks, I'll probably be diving more into that. Obama went to Diddy house.
Fuck that. Obama went to Jay-Z house because he got that nigga on speed dial. That nigga's at Jay-Z house.
Oh yeah, they're sipping on adrenochrome cocktails and allegedly. Yeah, like I really love that what that lady said, but damn, where the hell did she come from? Like it's like weird. Like it's like the same thing like with Obama when he came out of like the woodwork. Like nobody, I didn't even know, like that guy was like running Chicago for how long? I didn't even know he existed. Like
I did not know either because I was smoking, drinking, and fucking around in 07. And as soon as 08 come, I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah.
And then the motherfucking nation collapsed. I'm like, what the fuck? T.I. dropped the Paper Trail album. I'm like, man, nigga, that was the only album that got a nigga through the year. I'm like, nigga, even the music got garbage. Only got one album. I'm like, everything just fucking just dropped. Like, what the fuck happened?
And that's kind of like with this Pippa woman. Like, where the hell did she come from? And like her last name is like Mammogram. So she was like the breast cancer research or what? Like, do these people even have real names? Are these people's real names? Is this like the YouTube streets where everybody's got like nicknames, right? Because that's kind of how I feel about some of these elites. And like later on, we find out that like that's not their real name. Like apparently, like George Soros isn't really his name, or like who was it? Somebody. There's a couple of them that's like they changed their names and stuff, and it's like, who are you? Who? You know?
Oh, because that's true. Because like in the movie industry, some of the people like wasn't getting in because like they was baby hats, so like they had to change their name to like an American name in order to like kind of get in.
Yeah.
So like if they did it in that, yeah. So they did it in that, they can do it in anything else.
Right, and like I mean, either that or they wanted to like get away from like their their slave owning like ancestors or whatever, or they didn't want to be associated with the Jews, even though they're very Jewish. Like,
baby hats.
Yeah,
baby hats.
And I just really don't like it that we can't like just point out like why can't we even point that out that like maybe they're not like all Jews or anything. Like I'm always just like wondering like why can't I just like point that out that like it just happens to be this like these groups of like Zionistic, Talmudic Jews, whatever type of Jew, because there's so many different types. Like it's like Christians and stuff. Like there's like different denominations of Christians. There's different types of Jews.
Yeah.
You know, and
God
like
damn, you see like Jews like 8,000 times. God damn, I said it. You know what? Fuck it. Fuck it. We Cloak and Dagger. Fuck it. Let it fly.
but like, see, like
Fuck
you feel gross even saying it. But like we're self-censoring ourselves for what? You know? Because that's the trick of the trade, right? If we can get them to just censor themselves, then we don't have to tell them to shut up either.
Yep, you're right.
We don't gotta cancel people if people are canceling themselves.
Goddamn powers that be, you sly sons of bitches.
But yeah,
Yeah,
like that money stuff, like we're probably like easily like is it going to be, oh, that's also the thing too, is with this stuff, is are we going to have the same social credit system as China, or is it going to be different? Like what is it going to be based on? Because we also have like, you know, credit as it is now, which I mean there are some kind of social factors that kind of tie into how good your credit will be, just based kind of on like if you pay your bills on time, right? But
right.
like, are we even going to have the same kind of system as China? Like, who, and who's going to be, who are the, like, because, like, if you think about these, like, these people, like, it's like, say the Bidens, like Hunter Biden, and how just degenerate they are and everything. And then they're going to, like, be ranking us on, like, our social prowess or whatever.
I know mine is going to be in the red, possible terrorists, anarchists,
like, are they going to reward, like, actually like good behavior, like not like China, like, you know, not jaywalking or whatever, or are they gonna like reward degenerate people because they're degenerates, right?
It's gonna turn into the movie Demolition Man. If y'all haven't seen the movie Demolition Man, y'all gotta check that movie out.
Yeah, there's so many movies I haven't seen, so I'll add that to my list, because I just don't even watch the movies, and I think that kind of like helps me out with like the not being like easily programmed, but then like I'm also left out of the loop of kind of what's going on at the same time, so it's kind of like a double-edged sword type of thing, right, that I don't watch films. So what, they all use DBA. Do you know what that is?
What's DBA?
Yeah.
DBA sound like
Nathan. Like all these damn Alphabet Club things. I just want to like, it doesn't really tell me much. But yeah, like I wonder like what kind of social, like how are they going to rank us based on our like social, you know, what we do in our free time? Because like in China, you know, they'll like, you know, you'll get points marked off if you jaywalk, or, you know, if you do things that are just kind of like unethical, right? But like in the US, like especially like in Oregon, like they're kind of rewarding people for, you know, doing business as it. Yeah, okay. That makes sense. I was like thinking it was some cool shit, but it's just business as usual. Gosh, what was I saying? But yeah, in Oregon, like I mean, they're literally like every day I look at the mugshots and people are getting cleared. Like they get in, they're in there for 2 hours, and then they get cleared of all their charges. And then people are like robbing people, all kinds of stuff. And I'm like, why are their charges getting cleared? And like, they're pretty much like rewarding these people. Like, I mean, they got these CCAs, which are like confidential informants out here now that work for the EPD, like Eugene Police. And they get drones. They have their own personal drones to spy on our neighbors, their neighbors and stuff. And they're freaking pedophile informants and stuff. And like, what the hell?
Oh man, that's messed up. That's messed up. I don't like that.
Yeah, like a lot of the confidential informants in Eugene and like Portland are freaking criminals or pedophiles that got, you know, because that's what I want to talk about too, is like fucking why are pedophiles, they're kind of like a protected class if you think about it, because they don't go to prison because they can't be put in general population because somebody's going to beat their head in. So then they put them out in society and like they get put on a registry, which you can't even like see. You have to pay for pretty much now.
Wow.
And they get their own, like in Florida, they have their own like pedophile sex offender communities that they live in. And like, we don't get that kind of protection.
Right, we don't. They're trying to actually call it a mental condition and try to say it's called child admiring. What the fuck did you just
Oh
say?
man, that's a new one.
I'm about to
That's a new
slap
one.
somebody in this motherfucker. I'm like,
Like,
what?
that's like I thought, like, you know, there's people that are just like, oh well, I mean, how it's like with gay people, you know, like they just want to love who they love, and I'm like, you're talking about children here. Like,
Exactly.
you can love children without sexualizing them and, you know, committing sodomy and ruining them for life.
Right. Children shouldn't even
Like,
know nothing
people have a
about this
really,
in school. They're
people have a
trying to do
really,
it in third
yeah.
grade. That's you know, that's too early for them to even know about everything. It's like, you know, like wait till these kids get into high school or something, you know, because that's when they the hormones come. Like, what the fuck y'all doing in that third grade? This shit is crazy. Coming up to the school talking like, no, maybe we don't need this curriculum. This is too early. And they're
Yeah,
motherfucking going ham on the parents for you know, for stepping up against it. It's like, why is y'all counting on the parents? Y'all niggas wilding. I don't know what's going on with this motherfucking world no
yeah,
more.
and like I honestly, but there's also the pendulum swings both ways all the time. So like what's also going to happen later on though is because like there's also a lot of like people that are detransitioning, you know, that were trying to, you know, got put on hormone blockers or, you know, hormonal treatment or got their boobs, you know, taken off at a young age and try to become men, and then they're trying to detransition and get off all of that and realize like what a mistake it was. There's gonna be a lot of really fucking angry kids that are going to get older and be like, wow, like mom and dad, like, look what you did. You let me do this to myself when I didn't know any better, and you're supposed to protect me.
Yep. And yep, that's the conversation.
Kids.
Yep, that's the conversation. They'll be like, but society said we should let you do what you want. Like, no,
But
society was
born this
wrong.
way. Right? But I thought you said I was born this way. Okay, so was I born this way, or now that you're not that, now that I'm not going along with your plan and seeing you as like my, you know, beacons of reason, because that's like what kids, you know, when you're a child, you kind of look at your parents like they're superheroes, you know, and you trust them and all that stuff, and you at least you would like to, right? I mean, most people can't be trusted, even if it is your parents. I mean, I'm lucky, but some people aren't, and I just think about that, like, damn, like what kind of betrayal that would feel like, because like, you know, I try to put myself in other people's shoes, even like kids like that, and like growing up, my sister tried to be, you know, a dude, and like if we were growing up right now, she'd probably be put on hormones and stuff, and now she's like grown into who she is, and she's beautiful, and she don't, you know, look like Andy Milonakis anymore, and that's great.
And oh my god, you made me think about that old show on MTV. That nigga was a young nigga doing it.
Dude, he wasn't even young. He just looked like he was young. I thought he was like, when I was watching that back in the day, I thought he was like, you know, 15 or something. He was like 30 something years old.
Get the fuck out of here.
How old is, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up right now. I'll mute myself. I'm gonna look up how old Andy Milonakis is now. But you can go ahead and keep talking.
That shit was, oh my god, man. That shit takes me back. I was in high school watching this cat. This is back when Jackass was popping.
Andy Milonakis is 46.
God damn. All right. So like when I first saw it, it was 2002. So how old was he in 2002, 2003?
I don't know. So he's 46 now.
So that's
20 years. So he was like 20 something, maybe.
Yep, 20. Yep, it was 20 something.
Didn't he look like I got peas on my head, but don't call me a pea head? Like,
yeah, peas on my head, so don't call me a bee. Yeah, that was my name.
And he's all like floating around, like riding that fucking dog dragon thing from Betray You or whatever. And like, my favorite episode from that is when his grandma comes out and she's like in a gown and she's got like coupon on her, and she's like, I'm a coupon. I'm like, I don't know. That stuff was so good. Man. He's on, what is going on here? Yeah, we're just all over the place, but I kind of like podcasts like this. Okay. But yeah, I mean, like, I try to be like, our third episode was super like fresh and like boom, boom, boom. But like, man, I got a crazy life. I got a lot of shit going on. Like, I'd rather just like talk, and we kind of like, plus this shit's confusing. You know? So like, and there's just so many things you could talk about based on this thing, because it's like, okay, we got this fiat currency that's backed up by debt. And then now, like, they're trying to make it go digital, but like they can't just like wipe out all that debt, apparently, even though they totally could.
Yeah.
If they were to wipe out the debt, they wouldn't have.
Somebody getting paid.
Yeah. Somebody's got to get paid. And I mean, if our currency is backed by debt, then they can't wipe out the debt. That's not how that works.
Right. And like, plus everybody owe each other. And if it's the one world government, they might as well just wipe everything out and everybody start over from scratch. Like that would be a cool thing, but they ain't gonna do it. I think they won't, like they gotta keep that division somewhere, like they gotta keep that division somewhere. I won't be surprised if a revolution started under their noses, like in every country. It's just like a revolution, just attack their government. I'm like, yes, they finally listen to my music.
Well, yeah. I mean that. Yeah, they just listened to fucking Hurricane's new album, and they got fired up, and they just wanted to freaking burn everything down. I think that's great because, like, that's kind of how I feel sometimes when I listen to your music. I'm like, man, I want to go burn down that homeless camp. No, I'm just kidding. They're just like crazy out here because, like, that's another thing out here in Oregon. It's like, homelessness can happen to anybody, right? And it can be, a crappy, unfortunate situation that befalls some people. But out here on the West Coast, it's also a lifestyle. So
wow.
People forget about that, It's kind of like how hippies, like there's like those, there's like hippies, and then there's like what are those guys called? Never mind, I don't know, but there's always like different things that you can call people. But yeah, like there's like homelessness, like the homeless people that are really like fell into a bad situation, lost their job, whatever, lost their house, and like have to deal with this like situation that they're in. But then there's other ones that like it's a lifestyle for them, and those are the kind of ones that are like setting fire to the national forests and
really?
joining Antifa or gang stalking people. Like,
yeah, or turn to informants.
Yeah. And like the people that kind of just like kind of fell into like this homeless situation, those are the guys that like, because we have little like areas out here where they give you like a little cubicle house that you can stay in, and like you got to follow rules and stuff. But like all those people that like choose homelessness as a lifestyle, they're not going to follow no rules. But I also like, I vibe with that because I don't really want to follow rules either. But I'm not going to go tweaking for 7 days straight and do what some of these people do, right? Like, let's get rid of all those people. And like, I don't know, it just sucks because I would think too that like with Elon Musk, Elon Musk bought like 9% stake in Twitter recently, I guess. That's interesting.
Yeah, I heard about that, but like I ain't look more into it. And plus, I really want to know why did he make that move to do that? Like, I think it's an agenda behind that.
Yeah, right. It's just a new development, so I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, is he trying to control freedom of speech, or like maybe trying to control the backlash once we find out that this chip gonna be killing millions of people? Because they gotta have some guinea pigs first that's going to be test subject that ain't going to make it.
Right. And Elon wants the Neuralink in our brain.
Yeah.
And that's like super sketchy. Like every like kind of like holds him up as like their new god kind of. And that dude got hair plugs. And like, I don't know. Like his mom is sketchy. Like
yeah. Dude talk funny. He look funny. Like it look like he's like a different surrogate every time we see him. It's like I don't trust this guy. Like I really don't. Like, man, I'm glad my homeboy say, yo, man, keep your eye out for this guy. I'm like, all right, bro. I will. That is nigga Japan.
And that's kind of where I wonder, because like that's the thing too, is where there's like these players that are kind of behind the scenes, like with the World Economic Forum and stuff like that. But then like you have like these main players, kind of like Elon Musk and who else could we put in that category? But there's, you know what I mean? How are they going to play into this? Because like it's even like with Disney as a company, they're their own kind of entity, and they have their own like sovereignty and like autonomous rights within Florida, the state of Florida, and that's kind of like crazy to think about because like also these people with a certain amount of income, they are their own like sovereign autonomous state in a sense because of their business and who they are as a person and how much money they make. So it's like, how are they going to play into all this?
Yeah, they're just gonna turn it to digital Disney dollars.
Ew. They're going to be shaped like little dicks.
You wildin'.
Little Bitcoins. But yeah, I mean,
like, they got some controversy too. Like a whole bunch of people is walking off the job and quitting. You know, a whole bunch of execs. You have a whole bunch of executives getting caught up in some charges on some R. Kelly
for human trafficking and child pornography. Yeah, like that's what's going on too in Florida. Like they're trying to DeSantis is trying to pass that like bill about like the whole LGBTQ like gender studies stuff for like children at like 3 years old, which I think is ridiculous. Like I can't even believe that we're even like this is even up for debate, right? But like there's like a big thing. I'm like, gosh. It's crazy. Like, how is this up for debate? Why are we going to teach children about how to give blowjobs at 3 years old? That's just weird. But that's not just part of it, but like some parts of, these teachers are just kind of sick. Like I've never liked the education system in the first place. And I did think everybody should be pulling out their kids and homeschooling them. Like that's anarchy. But,
that's the best solution. Everybody pull out your kids, everybody.
Yeah, like this is not, they're coming, that's what they even said, we're coming for your kids. And it's like hip hop coming for your mamas. Like, it's kind of just like they're telling you that what they're going to do. And like, that's what's crazy too, is like there's all this controversy going on around Disney and like them, potentially losing funding and their like sovereign status as a corporation, because they do technically have sovereign status, and that's kind of goes into like the underground tunnels that lead to all of the parks and Epstein Island and all these things. But they like over 109 like something, a ridiculous amount of employees got different charges for human trafficking, child pornography, kidnapping, like the whole nine.
Yeah,
and like that just adds to like why this is not up for debate. Leave the children out of it. Like I didn't have a problem with gay people or anything like that. I definitely have always will have problems with pedophiles. Dead pedophiles don't reoffend, right? But I never minded like I've gay friends, whatever. I do think that I don't really agree with some of the things that they do on their free time, but that's not my business. They told me it, but I'm like, okay, gross. I didn't need to know. But like now you're coming for our kids. Now I got a problem with that. Like we got to draw the line somewhere. And if you're not going to fucking stop, we're going to make you stop.
Oh yeah.
We can
put you back in that closet where you belong. You have to come out of the closet again for 40 years.
And them getting that footage of like these employees just out there, like blatantly stating that they have an agenda to convert our children into like what they want them to be. And that just like, I think like more LGBT, alphabet people should be up in arms about that, because that completely derails whatever they were trying to accomplish in the first place, right? With these movements and pride and all this stuff. So
I thought it was just like y'all wanted to get married, then they passed the bill for y'all to get married. Now y'all infiltrated my movies, my comic books, my video games. I can't play. Man, I'm like, oh my God, I'm done with y'all.
Right. And the thing back in the day too was like, I had, some gay friends that were like, well, straight people just shove it down our throat. We never did. It was just the natural order of things, right? Like people were just naturally like a male and a female reproduce and create kids. And that's just kind of how it's been for centuries. Like, sure, there's been probably times like in, the Roman Empire where people were, incestuous or even had orgies, whatever. But we still know that that's not good. Like, I mean, I went to go donate plasma yesterday. And it's like, if you are, gay, you can't really donate plasma or anything.
That shit. Oh
like these different things, like you can't, so like it doesn't make you inherently a bad person, but it definitely makes you a fucking bad person if you're going to corrupt a child who has been in this world, who's like a clean slate and it has like is an infinite bundle of potential, and you're just going to squander that because you're miserable and you want like attention or something. I think that's crazy.
Yep. It's gonna Oh my God. And then I'm just finding out that they got birth control for men now. So it's really official that men can get pregnant. I'm done with this planet. Take me off of this bitch.
Well, it's also it's not birth control. It's just like it's kind of like semen kind of retention, but like birth control, like to keep you from impregnating a woman. Which your guys are lucky because it's not going to be it's non-hormonal. All women's birth control essentially, besides like maybe like the NuvaRing or that like weird or like the Nexplanon, which is the implant you can get in your arm, or there's a couple various birth control devices for women that aren't like necessarily hormonal. But I mean, like this implant in my arm, that's hormonal. It like puts hormones in my body and everything. It really fucked. Like most women need to get off birth control. They're like, oh, but I don't want to have babies. It's like, dude, learn your fertility. Like, learn your fertility. Like, women don't only have a small window to get pregnant anyways. So it's just kind of like this negligent shit. And like people shouldn't be having like all these abortions because of their negligence as a woman to understand her own body. That's just silly.
Yeah.
And then they're still going to blame men for, oh, well, like, oh, it's a man's fault. But men only have 3 different types of contraceptives, like 4, maybe 5 now because of this whole new thing. But like women have over like 34 different types of contraceptives to prevent them from getting pregnant. And they only get pregnant within a certain window of time every month. So what the fuck is up with this? Yeah, Nazi style propaganda. Yeah, I mean, it's just like hook, line, and sinker now. I mean, if you have any kind of ounce of critical skills at this point to see what's going on with the Fed and them raising interest rates and then this whole crypto stuff and then seeing this Neuralink crap that they want to put in your brain and then, just all these things that are happening right now. If you can't like look at all of that and be like, whoa, there's something going on here that's not like, it's just weird. Like, I can't believe there's still people out there that just live their lives.
I just want to connect with the AI robots. I'm like, okay, so like now we're gonna have like a robot that's gonna scan to see if we got our chip activated. They were like chip unactivated, gonna chase us down and shit, tackle our ass. Like, oh man, like what the fuck is going on? Everything is about to.
Well,
I can't even call this shit Detroit no more. This shit is motherfucking Delta City now, just like RoboCop. This is officially Delta City.
Well, did you see that article about the robots being able to create their own robots? So like they can like populate themselves.
Yeah, talk about it. It kind of looked at like symbiotic and metallic a little bit.
Right, but like they can like birth, like they can like, it's kind of like they can give their own birth to more robots basically, or they can assemble themselves to have more robots, which I assumed would be the case anyways. Like, these robots are eventually just going to assemble more robots for themselves to have more of themselves, right? But I guess like robots can reproduce certain ones, I supposedly. It's just weird. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
We've got people making these robots, now they can make themselves just like we can.
Right. So like it's probably some gene splicing robots and human mixed with animal DNA.
It's the most crazy like eugenic experiment in all of history that's probably going on right now.
Yeah, chimera, because I don't know how the fuck they make a lion, snake, and a bird. I'm like, whoa.
In China, like, what was it? I think the first articles about it, like human pig chimeras came out like 5-6 years ago.
Whoa.
And like they've cloned that sheep back in like 1994. And like they kind of knew how to do that shit way back before that. So can you imagine like what they're doing now? So
this shit. These bastards. Jurassic Park.
Well, are they just so bored? Are they just so bored that they feel like they need to do this? Like, I don't know. I'm like, I long to be bored. Because like I got too much shit going on. Oh, my brain's always going, and like I don't feel like I have enough time to do so many other things. And then these people are like literally like making, crazy mosquito. Like that's another thing too that's gonna happen. They're gonna release those damn fucking Bill Gates mosquitoes in Florida and California this year. And like what the fuck? Like, why? Like, why? These people are just like these nerdy little like snot fuckers that have nothing better to do, and like they have no real imagination for themselves, that they just gotta like torment people and create like these weird experiments. And I can't wrap my head around it. But it's fun to like try, I guess. But yeah, like I mean, the mosquitoes, you can't kill them. Like my friend was telling me about these mosquitoes the other day. That like she's seen mosquitoes back in like December and January, wintertime, and they're like huge, and like she was like swatting them and they wouldn't die. Oh, what made you donate? I couldn't donate plasma yesterday because I'm anemic. I gotta have more iron in my body, but like it's $150 for my first donation, so I'm gonna try to go back next week when I have more iron in my system. But
Don't go back. It's a sign. It's a sign. Don't go back. Don't go back.
Tell low key about your theories about this plasma crap, because I mean it's $150 out here for me. I think that's good money, and you can do it twice a week, so it's like $150 your first, and then $100 your next donation. So that's like $250 a week, bro. That I could be utilizing within just a couple hours. Because I'm like moving back out here in Oregon and everything, and I don't really want to go find everybody's trying to get me to work full time and shit. I'm trying to like help my family pack and move and get the fuck out of here, right? And they're working, so I can't be working on top of that. So I figured like I could go, donate plasma twice a week and just make a little bit of extra cash, and still get to have that free time to do everything else that I need to do, right? But then it's like, what if it is like some blade shit where they got like these vampire blood banks?
Yeah, that's my theory. Hey, yo, low key, it's like, look, like I did like the plasma center maybe like 4-5 times, right? And like on my last day, dog, I just looked around and I saw everybody just looking all like fucked up. I'm like, man, this is crazy. And I saw like a couple people pass out, they had to get taken out with the EMTs and shit. I'm like, man, this shit ain't right. You said get one king first month, but man, but like real shit. My theory is, I think they take your blood or your plasma to a vampire club in your main city, and they feeding some type of blood god. Like everything that's concerning blood, like it's like a low key vampire cult.
And this is a new development I wanted to tell you about that, Hurricane, because like on the paperwork that I was filling out, it said if you have taken any kind of experimental vaccine or trialed vaccine ever, you're not allowed to donate plasma or anything. So like think about that. How many people got jabbed and aren't able to donate plasma now?
Yeah.
So that makes the plasma in your blood even more valuable than before. So like that makes this whole like vampire kind of like thing even more crazy, because that's the thing too, is like you have to donate multiple times, otherwise they can't make the specific medication out of your plasma because it's unique to you. So it's like Spencer was telling me, he's like, oh well, I mean, if they get your plasma, they're just gonna become enlightened, and I'm like, man, they're gonna hunt me down and like
they're gonna turn me into like a vampire knight. I'm gonna be protecting the fucking queen vampire or some shit. Man, no.
Man, honestly, so I want another Queen of the Damned movie, but I want it to have all Black people in it. I don't want to have like with Queen of the Damned and Lestat, and he's like the white dude. I didn't like that. They've been playing that game since we were like forever. Like, why? Because like that's what I noticed too, is like every commercial now it's a Black and white couple. Like, I mean, obviously, like I'm like white girl and you're Black guy, we talking whatever, but why are they pushing that shit on everybody too? Like,
because I think
in of itself, like in a way, like I don't know, I don't get it. I'm just
like I think it's just predictive programming. Like I think it's just to be like, your hood is fucked up. You might as well get with a white chick, nigga.
Okay.
That's
I mean, I get like so many different perspectives on that, and I don't really get it. But like, it drives my dad nuts. He's like, "Why is there always like Or like a lot of like parent like magazines now only have mothers on them, or like the kids have no parents whatsoever, and I'm like, that's really sad.
Yeah, yep.
But vampires, demons, like I think, yeah, yeah.
No, I think they distant cousins. Like they cousins because
The demonic family tree.
yeah, I think demons are like they are the according to the Testament of Solomon, demons are like sons of angels, like at least like at least the high ranking like demons are. And like most of the high ranking demons are fallen angels, like according to the Testament of Solomon and the 72 Goetic demons in that book. You got to read that shit. That shit was deep. And it talks about the sigils of what the demons and the angels have, and it talks about what you need to like what angel to call upon when you have a demon that's trying to attack you. That shit is fucking deep. That shit is fucking deep. I have to study that shit. That's world game.
I really like what DJ Spin said there. But vampires invoke the demons. That kind of makes a lot of sense. And I feel like that's like the same with like some witchy bitches, Like a lot of people are like invoking demons every day, and they're just like normal people, and they don't realize they're doing it.
Yeah, it's like a hierarchy. Like some
right.
Some witches like know who they worship because like they fuck with the motherfucking the demons too. It's like most vampires, this is what I hear. Like the vampires like kind of want to back away, but like some vampires know they gotta fuck with demons and witches in order to like the kind of like maintain a balance because like they are still at war with each other. I don't know why. but if they are at war with each other, then like, I don't want to see that fucking battle. And they gotta be warned over us because like without us, they don't have no fucking power. So I don't know what type of shit they got going on, but
right. Well, I think it really is ultimately this, power dynamic. And like when we think of hierarchies, well, the only way you can get to the top of the hierarchy is the one that, has all the power over all the, at least that's seen, because like a lot of people can look like they have power, but they really don't. But just that illusion of like being powerful and confident and all these things sways enough people to believe them anyway.
right.
So yeah, I think it's really like they're at war just for the same thing as like just harnessing power and whatever that means to them and what they could use it for. It doesn't really have to be like crazy, like Lord of the Rings shit or like detailed shit. Like it's literally just that, I think, like, and we're all kind of competing for this in this space for our own right to be here and have our own space. So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah. Yeah, but these
what
vampires
is the swirling thing? Like, what is this swirling? Swirling is a religion. I'm like, what is this, like cosmopolitan ice cream or something? Is that swirling? Okay, we'll leave that for
I think swirling means something else, man, but I'm not really sure. No kid's a jokester, so
I know, I love him. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we were gonna try to talk about this Federal Reserve stuff and kind of the developments of it, but I think everybody kind of that will watch this or listen will be like, yeah, dude, it's just all fuckery. Like,
yeah.
And we're kind of like, just kind of like, does everybody else kind of feel this like deep sense of like waiting for something? I'm getting really tired of it.
Yeah.
Like
I'm still looking up at the sky. I'm waiting for something to come out the sky because I'm catching some shit at night. It's right. Like now, like now I'm connecting these anomalies with the weather. Like I think it might be the weather dominator or maybe the extraterrestrials fucking with the weather themselves.
Yeah, because like I'm glad that you're doing more of the sky watching, and I've seen some of your videos that you posted. I think that's great because like I do the same thing, obviously. And like that, I agree because like when I was back in West Virginia before I left, I finally got my sister to look out at the sky where I was looking. I was like, "See, Alex, I'm telling you, they're out." And she's like, "Holy shit!" And she got super scared, and so she wouldn't come out look at the aliens or whatever the hell they are. But like, there are these weird. So it was weird because like one night before, it was like 2 weeks ago. I walked out and like the sky had like this fog, kind of like this foggy, like overcast kind of thing going on. But it was like kind of like it looked like something was on fire because it had like this orange kind of hue to the fog, which I thought was really interesting. But before this happened, there was like these two little orb things, you know, those orb things that I catch, and they like came in close together, and that's when all this fog started coming in, and then it was like red, and then they disappeared, and then it was raining for like the next 2-3 days. And I was like, that's freaking weird. It literally looked like they were like maybe emitting something, like maybe some kind of frequency, or swirling is secure to racism. Okay.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, like I think like honestly, I just think like the whole like for me, like a lot of people have been trying to like race bait me into a corner. And like that's really annoying for me because I just think like the color of people's skin is boring to me. It's just boring.
Right,
And
we
like,
are the human race. It's
well,
about
yeah,
the
and like,
love
and
frequency.
then like people try to like I would talk about it, but I won't. It's just like one of my recent podcast episodes and stuff. It's like, man, like some people try to pigeonhole me into like these certain like boxes and try to get me to answer these like politically charged questions that are like, it's just like boring to me. You know what I mean? And like I feel like Martin Luther King, like everybody's like, oh, Martin Luther King, like Martin Luther King would be rolling in his grave because like he wanted the whole like topic of race and this color of our skin and like judging other people based on it. He wanted all that shit to be boring because it's boring. Okay. I came out of my mom's, you know, womb and I happen to be white. Okay. Like I don't have any recollection of like deciding that beforehand. So what the fuck? You know? And I think people are beautiful based on like much deeper aspects than these shallow surface things. So it's just it's really annoying for me.
Yeah, because it's part of the propaganda. You know, like they pushing the propaganda way too hard.
And it's just funny because like I'm a millennial, like on the like right before Gen Z, whatever. But like I'm like millennial, and like everybody my age kind of feels the same way. So like all the racists, you know, are gonna be croaking soon.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. So like, what the fuck?
Yeah. It's about to be like Starship Troopers. Everybody gonna be all cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'd rather be like, you know, hating on somebody because like they're running around naked or something in front of kids or some shit, you know, not because like, oh, like, you know, like there's like way more things, like interesting things to talk about, even about people than like even what they wear. Like some people have like eccentric cool style and stuff, and I dig it, but like even then, like I'm not gonna talk about somebody's fucking Jordan shoes for fucking 5 hours. And it's certainly not gonna ruin my day that they're wearing Jordans instead of Nikes, right?
Right. If I say playing pickup games with Kobe. Oh man, nigga, that ain't right. What's good? What's good? Yeah. But we just joining the show. We were talking about the Federal Reserve and how it's fucked up, and they about to start this new world order with this one world currency.
Yep, it's gonna be crazy. So I'm definitely gonna be hosting my own podcast episodes. I got some people that I wanted to have on to have chats with. They're obviously going to be controlled chaos because like that's what life is for us. So I'm kind of personifying that through my content, I think. Thank you, DJ Spin. But yeah, it's I'm going to be putting those up on my channel. So if anybody would like to like come on and be a guest on like my side, I'll be hosting it on my side, kind of like what Hurricane's doing here on his channel. But I'll be notifying everybody when I will have my first episode going live on my channel here in the next week.
Oh shit, next week. Oh shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have my buddy Jared Arneson come on. I grew up with him, and he's a good friend of mine. He's like this Viking guy. He is definitely the dangerous thinker, one of those dangerous thinkers. And I want to have him on and do that as my first one to kind of test the waters with YouTube. Yeah, my YouTube is just Ocean Imago. So I can drop it down in the comments or just like comment later, and then you can just click and check out my thing. I have no videos up right now. I've just kind of been, you know, trying to find a network first before I really dig my heels into this kind of stuff. And getting practice in and feeling more comfortable with just speaking on there anyways. It's been fun. I've definitely made fun of made a fool of myself quite a few times. But
no, you cool. Like, we are just talking, chilling.
Yeah, I'm just doing the thing. But Jared is like, he's like my Viking freaking metalhead. He's very eccentric. I'm just really excited because he's a dangerous thinker. We are going to test the waters and just see if we get banned immediately. So that's kind of like what I'm doing with that. So that'll probably happen like next week. So I look forward to it. That's
what's up. What's gonna be the name of your podcast? What's gonna be the name of it?
I gotta think of one. So if anybody's got any ideas for like kind of like a name, but like I mean, I do the like I've got my Telegram channel that I'll be doing, which is the Primordial Soup. But I don't think like that'll be my podcast name per se. But I just have like different projects for different like kind of things. Just kind of gotta keep everybody guessing.
Right. That's what's up.
Yeah. But if anybody does have any recommendations or names that they want to throw out there for me, that'd be great. But I mean, otherwise, it'll just be like, you know, these episodes that I upload on my channel, which I will have some hopefully next week uploaded to my channel finally. It's been a long time coming, but I really appreciate everybody's waiting, you know, and sticking around to watch like me and Hurricane and talking and everything. So I appreciate it. Misunderstood is a good name. Yeah, I kind of like that too. I think I fear being understood more than being misunderstood because I've been understood my whole life. So, you sound like you've been doing this. I've been trying. Like, been guests on Loki's channel for like. I mean, I've kind of Loki. I've been on his channel for a couple times here and there, and we've been kind of working together for like almost a year now. Like, it's kind of crazy to think about. But yeah. Yep.
How about Ocean Dagger?
Ocean.
Ocean Dagger.
The Ocean Dagger, yeah. And I just love that too, because like the Kloak and Dagger thing, because like if you think about it, like they're putting a cloak over the dagger, and then if you remove the cloak from the dagger, they just stab.
Nice.
It's kind of like a evolution of the carrot and the stick trick, you know. Like, what's under the cloak? It's a dagger. Stab. Yeah. But yeah.
I've never thought of that before, but now I'm using it. Now I'm thinking about it.
I got that analogy earlier today, and I was like, man, I didn't even think about it that way.
Yeah, that's really nice.
That's kind of what these like elites and all these people are doing. Like they're like, oh, like what's it's like the man behind the curtain, right? But it's like what's underneath like the blanket, and then you pull the blanket and it's like, oh, it's a freaking dagger and blah. Like, you know, like you're thinking you're getting this, but you're getting that. So, it's fun.
So, like, what else did you learn in that book? You know, what else you learned in that book?
Oh, well, it's just so big, dude. It's so big. Let's see here. It's huge.
Damn.
And I mean, I just cleared out, my brother's shed a couple days ago, and so that was really rough. And I'm getting through it, my brother's passing and everything. It gets easier. I can't say it gets easier. It just gets, I guess it does get easier in a way just to keep living life without him here. But does it make the hole in my heart any, I don't know. It's hard to like describe, but I think like that's what I'm gonna do too. And when I'm gonna start posting more content on my page, I'll be having different people that I'll be, having different conversations with. It's gonna range from everywhere. Like for me, nothing is off the table to talk about. Like we're gonna talk about some things. I'm gonna ruffle some feathers, and it'll be fun to see what happens. But I think with this, like I'm gonna start just going into it and kind of doing little excerpts kind of on the Federal Reserve and just kind of educating people on what it is and what it is not, and kind of just digging into this book a little bit more because it's a lot of material and it's not in chronological order. So it's going to be a little bit, hefty to dig into, but I'm excited to do so.
Sweet. I can't wait to see it. I mean, see it in here.
Yeah. And thanks for having me on again as usual. We'll try to do more of these at least once or twice a month. But yeah. Yep. Thank you, Hurricane.
Yeah. All right, everybody. Thanks for coming through. This is the Kloak and Dagger Podcast. Holla.